Welcome to the deep dive. We're going to unpack some really incredible ancient stories today, shared by a listener. They're from the Dhammapada commentary.
That's right, yeah. We've got two narratives lined up. One's about a monk, Tissa, and the other, it's about 30 monks who came to visit the teacher. The source gives us the stories pretty directly.
Think of it like getting a behind-the-scenes look at these moments of, well, intense spiritual change. We'll see how different people handle big news, sometimes really unsettling news.
And how they chase their goals in, really fascinating ways, sometimes surprising.
Right. And our goal here isn't just to tell the stories.
No, definitely not. We want to dig into the why, the motivations, what happened, and crucially, what the teacher thought was actually important in all this. These aren't just old tales. They've got real insights.
Insights about focus, practice.
Yeah, and how there can be different paths to, liberation, profound transformation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You might even be surprised by what gets called true honor here. So let's jump in. Let's see what we can pull out for you. Okay, first up, Elder Tissa. This story is set in Vesali, and the source mentions the teacher gave a whole discourse because of him. What's the setup?
Well, the setup is pretty dramatic. The teacher makes this huge announcement to all the monks.
Okay.
He says, because, monks, I'm going to attain Parinibbana, final Nibbana in 4 months.
Wow. Just like that. That's massive news for his followers. How did they react, the monks there?
It was a whole range of reactions, actually. The source paints a picture. Some monks, the ones who weren't enlightened yet, they were terrified, like gripped by actual panic.
Panic? Really?
Yeah, the word used suggests real fright, alarm. But then you have the others, the arahants, the fully liberated ones.
Okay.
Their reaction was different. It's called Tiṃsabhikkhuvatthu. Not fear exactly, but this deep spiritual urgency, a kind of profound emotional hit from realizing, the truth of impermanence, even for the teacher.
I see. So it depends on where they were on the path. What about the ordinary monks, the ones still working towards it?
For them, the source says, well, they just couldn't stop crying, tears streaming down.
Oh.
And they started gathering in these little groups, kind of murmuring, asking each other, what are we going to do? What happens now? You really feel that sense of, confusion and loss.
Yeah, like their guide is leaving. Okay, so you've got terror, urgency, tears, confusion.
Yeah.
A real mix. But Tissa, our main character here, he reacted differently.
He did, yeah. He specifically highlighted. Tissa hears the news, and his thinking is crystal clear. He thinks, okay, 4 months. The teacher will pass in 4 months. And me.
Yeah.
I'm still, attached. I haven't rooted out craving. That's the sense of the term used, avitarago. So he decides, right then and there, while the teacher is still here, this is my chance. I have to attain arahantship now.
Wow, talk about focus. That's a really direct response to the news.
Yeah.
How did he pursue that in just 4 months?
He went all in, intense approach. The source says he just lived completely alone. Total focus on his practice, walking, standing, sitting, lying down, all by himself.
All 4 postures, okay.
And crucially, it emphasizes no contact with other monks, no going near them, no conversation with anyone, period.
That sounds extreme.
Yeah.
Really isolating. How did the other monks take that, his sudden withdrawal?
Well, they noticed, obviously, and they tried to talk to him, hey, Tissa, what's going on? Why are you doing this? But the source says he just didn't listen, didn't respond.
No.
So naturally, what do? They go to the teacher and they report him, but their interpretation was way off.
Oh, so.
They said, Venerable Sir, Elder Tissa, he doesn't seem to care about you. He has no affection. Everyone else is upset or talking, and he's just off on his own, ignoring everybody.
Ah, okay. A total misunderstanding. They saw his focus as indifference.
Yeah.
What did the teacher do then?
He called Tissa in, asked him straight up, why are you acting like this? And Tissa explained his motivation, right? This urgent drive to get enlightened before the teacher passed away.
And the teacher's reaction?
Sadhu Tissa.
Sadhu. That's excellent or well done. A really strong approval, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely deep approval. And this is where it gets really interesting. The teaching moment, he turns to the other monks.
Yeah.
And he says, Bhikkhus, this is what real affection for me looks like. Let your affection be like Tissa's.
Wow.
He goes on, people honoring me with stuffed scents, garlands, whatever, that's not really honoring me. The ones who truly honor me, they're the ones who practice the Dhamma properly, in line with the Dhamma.
That just completely flips the idea of honor or affection on its head. It's not about being close by or giving gifts. It's the inner work.
Exactly. Diligent practice. And right after saying that, the teacher gives this verse, starting with, drinking the taste of solitude and the taste of peace.
Drinking tastes not like literal tastes. What does the commentary say about that?
Good question. The commentary clarifies. Taste of solitude. That's the kind of deep joy, the bliss that comes from real seclusion, from, being truly alone with your practice.
Okay, the bliss of being alone and the taste of peace.
That's the taste of nibbana itself, the end of suffering, the cessation of all those mental defilements.
So these tastes are profound inner states you cultivate through solitude and practice. What happens when you drink them? What's the effect?
The verse continues. It says, the person who drinks these becomes free from agitation and faultless. And they're also drinking the taste of rapture in the Dhamma.
Free from agitation and faultless.
Yeah, the commentary breaks it down. Free from agitation means free from inner turmoil, like lust, anger, restlessness, that kind of stuff. Faultless means free from those underlying imperfections. And drinking the taste of rapture in the Dhamma, that's the joy arising from depth spiritual insight, the supramundane states.
Okay.
And doing this, cultivating these tastes, also leads to being free from agitation and faultless. It's all interconnected.
So Tissa's intense solitude wasn't just being antisocial. It was actively cultivating these incredibly deep, liberating inner qualities. And did it work? Did his focus pay off?
It absolutely did. The source wraps it up by saying that right at the end of that discourse, Elder Tissa attained arahantship, full liberation.
Oh.
And it adds, the whole talk was really beneficial for everyone there. The whole assembly gained something.
What really strikes me here is how something that looked, from the outside, like detachment, maybe even disrespect to just withdrawing completely, was actually the deepest form of spiritual urgency, the most authentic practice. And the teacher fully endorsed it as true honor.
That's powerful. Okay, let's shift gears now. A totally different kind of story, right? This one's at Jetavana Monastery. 30 monks involved.
Right. A different scene entirely.
Mm-hmm.
The source says 30 monks came from the provinces. They traveled quite a way to visit the teacher.
Okay, like pilgrims coming for guidance. What happened when they got there?
Well, Ananda, the teacher's main attendant, he was just arriving to do his duties for the teacher.
And he sees this group of monks arriving. So, being Ananda, very diligent, he thinks, okay, I'll just hang back here at the gatehouse, let the teacher talk with them first, and then I'll go in.
Sounds like him.
Mm-hmm.
Always considerate. Did the teacher meet with this group?
Yes, he greeted them, exchanged pleasantries, and then he gave them a Dhamma talk, one specifically tailored for them, suitable for their level.
And the impact of this talk.
This is pretty remarkable. The source says, quite simply, having heard that talk, all 30 of them attained arahantship.
Wait, all 30? Just like that? From one talk?
Just like that. Instantaneous, it seems. Shows the power of the teaching and maybe their readiness, too,
Absolutely incredible. So what did these newly enlightened monks do then?
This is the really wild part. The source says they ascended into the air and departed.
They flew. Just took off.
Apparently so, flew away.
And meanwhile, poor Ananda is still patiently waiting outside the door.
Exactly. He's waited quite a while, thinking they're still in there talking. Finally, he goes up to the teacher and asks, "Venerable sir, those 30 monks who came, where are they?"
What did the teacher say?
Very matter of fact. "They're gone, Ananda."
Gone.
So Ananda, probably a bit confused, asks, "Which way did they go, venerable sir? By what path?" The teacher replies, "By air, Ananda."
By air. So Ananda presses him.
Yeah, he asks the crucial question, "Are they arahants then, venerable sir?" To which the teacher confirms, "Yes, Ananda, they heard the Dhamma from me, and they attained arahantship."
So Ananda gets confirmation. They're enlightened, and they flew off. Did the teacher say anything more about the flying part?
Yes, perfect timing. Right at that moment, the source says, a flock of swans flew across the sky overhead.
A real-world teaching aid.
Exactly. The teacher immediately used it. He said, "Ananda, look, anyone who has really developed the 4 iddhipadas, the bases of spiritual power, they can travel through the air just like those swans."
Okay, iddhipadas. Bases of power.
And then he recited this verse. "Swans fly on the path of the sun. They go through the air by power. Ithya, the wise ones depart from the world, having conquered Mara and his vehicle."
Okay, let's unpack that verse. Swans fly naturally. People with these iddhipadas fly through spiritual power. But what about the second part? The wise ones depart from the world, having conquered Mara.
Right. The commentary helps here. The wise ones, that means the enlightened ones, the scholars in wisdom, having conquered Mara and his vehicle. Mara represents all the defilements, death, temptation, the whole structure that keeps us trapped in suffering. Conquering him means overcoming all that.
Okay, conquering inner obstacles.
Exactly. And depart from the world, it doesn't mean physically leaving, like flying away. It means escaping the whole cycle of rebirth, the world of suffering. Vaikalok, they run out from it, they escape. Ultimately, it means they reach Nibbana.
I see. So the flying, the iti power, it's a sign or a result of profound development, of conquering Mara's influence.
Yeah.
But the real departure, the ultimate goal, isn't physical flight. It's liberation from the whole cycle reaching Nibbana.
Precisely. The physical power is linked to the inner transformation, but Nibbana is the final destination. And just like the Tissa story, the source notes that this discourse was also super effective. Many others in the assembly listening attained major insights, like stream entry.
So this story gives us a different flavor. Rapid attainment, just from hearing the Dhamma manifesting in these, well, spectacular powers. But it still connects those powers back to the deeper work of overcoming defilements and the ultimate goal of escaping suffering. Okay, so we've got these two really distinct stories side by side. Tissa, driven by this intense urgency, goes into deep solitude, puts in massive effort, and finds liberation through cultivating inner peace.
Right. And then the 30 monks, they just hear the teacher speak, boom, they're enlightened, and they demonstrate this incredible power of flight.
Very different paths, seemingly.
They really do highlight different aspects of the journey, don't they? Tissa's story is all about the power of personal effort, seclusion, cultivating that taste of solitude, which the teacher calls the highest honor, the 30 monks. That story shows the sheer, catalytic power of encountering the truth directly from an enlightened source, leading to instant realization and these amazing abilities linked to the Iddhipadas.
It really feels like there's no single right way to practice or for awakening to happen. One is slow burn, intense effort, solitary. The other is sudden insight in a group with, superpowers.
That's a huge takeaway, I think.
Yeah.
Both paths led to the exact same place. Arahantship, complete liberation, but how they got there, the immediate trigger and the outward signs, totally different.
Yeah.
Tissa's was internal, sustained effort. The monks' was receptive insight, manifesting outwardly. But the core message, especially from Tissa's story, seems consistent. Real progress, real honor. It's about the inner transformation, the practice itself, not the outward show, not even just being physically near the teacher.
So thinking about this for you listening, these ancient stories, they touch on things we still grapple with, right? How do you react when things get uncertain or urgent? Where do you put your focus for growth? What's the difference between just going through the motions and doing that deep inner work? We've really dug into these two accounts today. Elder Tissa's urgent path of solitude and the 30 monks' powerful, almost instantaneous transformation.
Yeah, we've seen these contrasting journeys, both leading to liberation, and crucially, the teacher's point about practice, real practice, being the highest form of honor, and how attainment can look very different on the outside.
Inner peace versus, flying.
Right. It shows the diversity of experience on the path. These texts give us these fascinating glimpses.
And they make us think about our own lives, our own journeys. What does that inner work really look like for us?
Which brings up maybe a final thought. We saw these different routes. Intense solitude, cultivating inner peace, versus this rapid insight through hearing, sometimes with dramatic powers, thinking about your own path towards wisdom or liberation, whatever that means for you. Which aspect feels more resonant right now, or perhaps more challenging? The quiet inner cultivation or the potential for more sudden shifts through connection and hearing?
Definitely something to reflect on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.